The Crimson Thread. In a small village nestled among ancient hills where olive trees whispered secrets of old, lived a young woman named Miriam. She was a weaver, her fingers nimble with the loom, crafting tapestries that told stories of her people's faith. But Miriam carried a weight in her heart, a longing to understand the deeper meaning of the crimson thread she wove into every piece, a tradition passed down from her grandmother. One evening, as the sun dipped low, painting the sky in hues of fire, Miriam sat by her loom, the words of her grandmother echoing, "The crimson thread is life, child. It's the blood that binds us to the divine." Curious, Miriam turned to the sacred scrolls her family cherished, seeking answers. She read in Leviticus 17:11, "For the life of a creature is in the blood, and I have given it to you to make atonement for yourselves on the altar. It is the blood that makes atonement for one's life." The words stirred her soul, but they felt distant, like a ritual from a time long past. Miriam's village was steeped in tradition. Every year, they offered sacrifices at the altar, believing the blood of lambs cleansed their sins. Yet, Miriam wondered why the sacrifices never seemed enough. Her friend Eli, a shepherd, shared her questions.
One night under a starlit sky, he read to her from Genesis 9. But you shall not eat flesh with its life, that is its blood, and Genesis 4:10, where God heard Abel's blood crying from the ground. Blood speaks, Eli said, his voice low. It carries life, and it pleads for justice.
One day, a stranger arrived in the village, a teacher named Ezra, whose eyes held a quiet fire.
He spoke of a new covenant, a fulfillment of the ancient laws. Miriam and Eli listened as he quoted Hebrews 9:22, "Without the shedding of blood, there is no forgiveness," and then shared a story that shook them to their core. He spoke of a man named Jesus, whose blood was poured out not on an altar of stone but on a cross for the forgiveness of all. As it says in Matthew 26:28, Ezra declared, "This is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins."
Miriam's heart raced. She thought of her crimson thread, how it wove through her tapestries like a promise. Ezra continued, his voice steady, "In him we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of our trespasses, according to the riches of his grace." Ephesians 1:7. Unlike the blood of goats and calves, Jesus' blood was enough, eternal as Hebrews 9:12 promised. He entered once for all into the holy places, by means of his own blood, thus securing an eternal redemption. That night Miriam couldn't sleep. She imagined the crimson thread as Jesus' blood weaving through time, connecting her to God's love. She thought of the early believers in Acts 15 who honored blood to unite their community, a reminder of its sacredness. The weight in her heart began to lift, replaced by awe. She was part of a greater story, one where the crimson thread didn't just cover sin, it erased it. The next morning Miriam returned to her loom with new purpose. She wove a tapestry unlike any before, a vibrant scene of a cross glowing under a radiant sky, with crimson threads flowing like rivers of grace. As she worked, she whispered a prayer of thanks for the blood of Jesus, which had made her free, whole, and forever bound to the divine. When the tapestry was complete, the village gathered to see it. Eli, Ezra, and the others stood in silence, feeling the weight of the crimson thread's truth. Miriam smiled, knowing she was fortunate beyond measure, not just to weave stories but to live in one where the blood of Jesus had changed everything. She was a weaver, her fingers nimble with the loom, crafting tapestries that told stories of her people's faith. The crimson thread is life, child. It's the blood that binds us to the divine. She wove a tapestry unlike any before, a vibrant scene of a cross glowing under a radiant sky with crimson threads flowing like rivers of grace.